I put that up over a year ago, but I forget what it means. Episode 2 of what? Oh well, I haven't been on Disney Plus in a while. Might as well scroll through there and see what there is to see.
Wow, there's a lot on here. A lot. Too much. Ugh, the site has so much garbage on it. It just feels cluttered.
Meet the Deedles! Well, if I can't remember what episode 2 is supposed to mean, I might as well make something. I have seen every single major Spider-Man movie, and some are definitely better than others. So here is my personal ranking of each. Oh, it was the Clutter Disney Plus. Disney Plus has pretty much every Disney movie ever made, which means there are a ton of movies on here that no one has ever heard of before. Why is there so much stuff on here? So I'm going through it all and choosing a random movie that's only included because it's a Disney movie and just clutters the site. This is the Clutter of Disney Plus. Hello everyone and welcome to the Movie Fanatics. My name is Brannick. It's been a minute. Truth be told, the reason that episode 2 is only being made now is because I really didn't want to make a second one. Every time the thought crossed my mind to make an episode 2, I found a different idea that I wanted to do more. So I guess now I finally have the motivation to continue the series. I actually consider making an installment in this series every month after episode 1 released. Oh, what could have been. But it's back now, and that's cool because I still like the concept for this series. Just talking about bad and obscure Disney movies. And boy, have I found a movie worthy of being in this series. It's perfect. Meet the Deedles opens up with our two protagonists, Thing 1 and Thing 2. These are the Deedles. I'm glad they gave Thing 1 glasses, otherwise I would not be able to tell these two apart. Alright, I've met the Deedles. I think I can stop now. I'll keep watching though to see how the Deedles get out of this one. See, they're parasailing across the ocean in Hawaii, and on their 18th birthday, no less. And they're also skipping school. They're pursued by the school police, I'm not kidding, on a jet ski for skipping school, which lands them in trouble with their disapproving father. Mr. Deedle is mad at Things 1 and 2 for always tarnishing the family name. Deedle. Mr. Deedle decides that the only way to shape these two into fine young men is to send them to camp in Wyoming, run by his friend. Honestly, while most of the acting in this movie is terrible, I actually kind of enjoyed Mr. Deedle unironically. I feel like if his actor was put in a better role, he could excel. Unfortunately, he is in Meet the Deedles. Thing 1 and Thing 2 go to the airport to fly to Wyoming, and I will now showcase some of the dialogue spouted by these two.
Mr. Bigfoot, Mr. Sasquatch B. Bigfoot, please pick up a white courtesy phone. It's a nightmare.
This is the whole movie. If you can't tell, this is the friend of Mr. Deedle who runs the boot camp, so they start driving off to camp and then they drive off a cliff and die.
What? Turn?
Well, the Deedles are dead, and that's weird considering we still have an hour and 20 left. So they didn't die, but they get shot through the roof of the truck and separated from Boot Camp Bill, who runs off and is never seen again, maybe. The Deedles think it's a great idea to skateboard down the road against the flow of traffic, causing a Bavarian circus truck to crash, setting free an elephant, a lion, and a bear. I wish that wasn't important. Either way, the Deedles roll right into Yellowstone National Park, crashing into the sign. When they wake up in their hospital beds, the park staff thinks they are Mel and Mo, two rookies who were supposed to show up but didn't. And I wonder why. They'll be fine. See, this is a good subplot. The Deedles aren't actually supposed to be there, so they'll go by the names Mel and Mo to blend in. Very clever. But they don't. They go by their real names the entire time. Did I miss something? Alright, we are 20 minutes in and we are finally getting some plot. I don't know if plot is too much to ask for. Basically, prairie dogs are everywhere. They're running around, they're disturbing campers, and they're also interfering with the preparations for the park celebration of Old Faithful's 1 billionth birthday. We have to kill them all. And all these prairie dogs are a result of Mr. Slater, a former park ranger who has somehow amassed an army of prairie dogs and is using them to tunnel under Yellowstone. Mr. Slater tells his two goons, Nemo and Mr. Krabs, to control the prairie dogs since they're creating suspicion. I know his name is Mr. Crab, but come on, that was handed to me.
Yellowstone. My Yellowstone. You have no idea what's about to hit you.
Yellowstone had better watch itself. Anyway, Head Ranger Captain Pine just kind of accepts the fact that the Deedles are there. Also, Thing 2 is in love with Pine's stepdaughter. Because of course he is.
You and Ryan? Insert laugh here.
Haha. The Deedles are put on the job of ridding the park of its rodent infestation. In a national park, they are trying to kill native wildlife. That's fine, and nothing happens for like 10 minutes except the Deedles, Captain Pine, and Stepdaughter all climb a cliff for no reason. During this part, Captain Pine makes it abundantly clear to Thing 2 not to date his stepdaughter. I wonder how that'll work out later in the movie. Wait, they're still alive? The prairie dogs are now tunneling under Captain Pine's cabin. I'm sure that's fine, it won't be that terrible. What is happening? Now look at this.
Hey, Phil. I was thinking...
Earlier in the movie, the Deedles drank Cokes. Now in this scene, Stepdaughter is drinking a Diet Coke. So this means that the Coca-Cola company saw the title Meet the Deedles with dollar signs in its eyes. Now with this movie, you just kind of have to forget everything you appreciated about the art of filmmaking and just let it take you along on the ride. But I still think we should acknowledge major flaws, like how long this movie is. Not literally, it's around 90 minutes long. But it just plods on and on, really padding that runtime. Seriously, between the 20 and 40 minute marks, pretty much nothing of significance happens. That's like a quarter of the movie. The only event of relative significance is Mr. Slater learning that the Deedles are trying to disrupt his prairie dogs.
Hey, bro. I found it. Hacked into an old CIA database, and there it was.
You what? This just amounts to a plan to gas the prairie dogs in their tunnel. But it doesn't work because all the gas does is make people fart. Because what else would it do? Because of this, Slater sends Mr. Krabs and Nemo to stop the Deedles. They set up a roadblock to get the Deedles out of their truck, and while the Deedles are working on that, Mr. Krabs comes and destroys the truck's brakes. So when they start driving again, they lose control and drive off a cliff. That's the second time they've driven off a cliff in the first hour. Naturally, they think it was fun and they do it again. That's the third time they've driven off a cliff in the first hour. It would be really funny if this movie hinted at getting an unnecessary villain in the third act unnecessarily. Oh, joy! Thing 2 and Stepdaughter agree to get some lunch together while going on a hike. That'll be so romantic. I bet Captain Pine will love that.
Bro, this stuff's hot. That's the idea. I've got to elevate the temperature of the P-Dogs so the satellite's heat sensors can distinguish them from other mammals when it makes the thermal map.
When did you get so smart? That's the plan. Use the magic plot heat potion to raise the temperature of the prairie dogs so they can track them thermally. Or, you know, what Thing 1 said. Mr. Krabs and Nemo are still trying to kill the Deedles, this time using an unsuccessful crossbow murder attempt, so that's happening. And Mr. Slater discovers the magic plot heat potion and realizes the Deedles' plan. And finally, after an eternity of tension, Thing 2 and Stepdaughter go out on a date in the woods. Thing 2 brings gummy worms, which Stepdaughter interprets as a challenge, so she tries to prove herself by eating real worms, and then Thing 2 tries to prove himself back by eating real worms as well. Thing 1's plan now is to use the thermal map to put small explosives in the prairie dog's tunnel, but he's interrupted by Captain Pine, who has brought Mel and Mo, and the Deedles cover is blown. But they haven't been pretending to be Mel and Mo. Did I miss something? I don't want to rewatch the movie to check. Thing 2 is still with Stepdaughter, and their date is interrupted by Captain Pine. Oh, the Deedles are in trouble now.
Stealing ladies' panties? You stole ladies' panties?
Well, yeah. But just to wear them.
Nice save. So the Deedles are in a helicopter with Stepdaughter and Captain Pine, who plans to kick them out of the park. The Deedles try to defend themselves, saying that they really do care about the park and want to help it. But Captain Pine says that either they go or he goes.
I'm not going anywhere!
He'll be fine. That's right, he will, because he landed in a river. The Deedles use their surfing skills to catch up to Captain Pine and grab him, while Stepdaughter lowers the helicopter to pick them up. But this is a movie, and an action scene in a river no less, so there's a waterfall. And also, because this is a movie, Captain Pine is saved at the last second possible. Is this over yet? This brave act of heroism was enough to convince Captain Pine to not kick the Deedles out of the park, and also to give them their ranger badges. They have a party that night to celebrate, and I just wish something would happen. The bear from the circus earlier is at the party, and everyone assumes it's the park mascot except for its owner, who chases it down as it drives away in a jeep. Thing 2 and stepdaughter sneak off into the woods to a hot spring, and I thought things were going to get unholy. Thankfully, they just kissed. My innocence is secure. Anyway, the Deedles graduation ceremony kicks off as they plan to set off their explosives and kill all the prairie dogs. They almost do, but Mr. Slater and his merry men are one step ahead, having apparently planted landmines along the tunnel toward Old Faithful.
Now.
I have many regrets. Starting this movie is not one of them. Apparently those explosions broke Old Faithful somehow. I guess that's what we're going with.
Those phony surfer losers killed Old Faithful! Lynch them! Lynch the Deedles!
Well, I mean that's a little harsh.
And don't come back!
Do they know what lynching means? Do the screenwriters? Thing 1 figures out that the prairie dog tunnel was leading toward Old Faithful, so they decide to go back to the park and figure out who set off all them bombs. Of course, how are they going to get back into the park? By walking? Oh no, that'd be too easy. They're going to parasail on some unsuspecting stranger's truck. But of course it's no stranger, it's Boot Camp Bill, who is alive. So the Deedles try to sort that out.
What? Kart!
Fourth time. The park celebration for Old Faithful's billionth birthday has started, and I guess the geyser really is dead. The Deedles soar over to Slater's RV, which is right above Slater's secret underground lair. Very convenient. The Deedles are spotted on the security cams by Slater and are taken in by Mr. Krabs and Nemo. When they enter the lair, Slater carries on the cartoon villain tradition of monologuing. He explains that he was using prairie dogs to dig toward Old Faithful, but when he saw Thing 1's plan, he decided to use dynamite instead, which was seen earlier.
You killed Old Faithful, you hate us, ain't it?
Killed her, no. She's very much alive and still erupting like clockwork into the steel tank.
Diabolical. Mr. Slater's plan is to divert the flow from Old Faithful to an extinct geyser on his property right above their heads. But why would someone do such a thing?
You mean that old dry hole by your trailer?
That old dry hole, Deedle, is about to become the greatest geyser ever.
New Faithful of Slaterstone. Ta-da!
I have stumbled across the greatest villain plot of all time. In Meet the Deedles, the villain's plan is to divert the flow from Old Faithful to his own park so he can make a geyser that's better than Old Faithful, so all the tourists will go to his park instead of Yellowstone. Ingenious writing there. Slater orders Mr. Krabs and Nemo to kill the Deedles, and in the ensuing fight, Mr. Krabs and Nemo lose. Who would have guessed? The Deedles then put on Mr. Krabs and Nemo's outfits and destroy the pipe that's redirecting Old Faithful.
Fools, I said open them, not close them. That blasted tank is barely holding as it is. Open them or you're going to destroy everything.
Give it up, Slater Bud!
Ingenious writing everywhere. Then Slater and the Deedles go into the pipe and are blasted out of Old Faithful.
Step off our wave, Slater!
Do the Deedles know how hot geysers are? Do the screenwriters? No harm, no foul, I suppose, and the movie ends with the Deedles opening Deedlestone, a park with a lake where everyone can surf. In Wyoming. And that was Meet the Deedles, and as you can tell, it's not great. It's exactly what you would expect from a crappy B movie from the 90s. But my god, is it entertaining. It's so laughably stupid, so hilariously poorly written and acted that it makes it incredibly fun to watch. And while I will hopefully never see this movie again, I, at the very least, enjoyed myself. 4 out of 10. And now we have the return of the official Clutter of Disney Plus ranking whiteboard. I'm ranking Meet the Deedles below Terrible, No Good, Very Bad Day, because while they're both not great, I feel like number 1 was much more competent. I feel like Meet the Deedles can only be really watched ironically, while the other one is actually a competent comedy. And I guess second place ain't bad. And we'll see how episode 3's movie places when that episode comes out next year. See you then. Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've done one of these ending chats. After this, there will be no more videos from me until my final video of the year coming out later this month. Basically this year, for the first time, I've been keeping track of every movie I see for the first time. And in a few weeks, I'm going to be ranking my top picks from that list. And it's a pretty long list, so we'll see what happens. That will be my final video, but before that, I wanted to revisit an old series. It's kind of been a crazy month for the channel, with my video on The Shining getting copyright claims, so it came out a couple days later because I kind of set it aside and didn't deal with it for a little while. That wasn't fun. It got blocked, so that was nice. And then there was the week-long delay for the podcast. Sorry about that. Then there was the Mario Galaxy video, which actually Mario Galaxy isn't a movie, so I'm sorry about that. But things will be back to normal after this, I promise. Also, my ranking video probably won't have one of these monologues, so just for now, thank you for a great year, and I'm looking forward to an even better one in 2022. Alright, I've officially made Clutter Disney Plus Episode 2 before I did the Spider-Man ranking. So I guess I'll work on that one next. That should be out by 2025. Thank you all for watching. This is Brannick from the Movie Fanatics, signing off.